Computer Programming for Kids. Step 3. Adding the controls to the form. If you are playing along, I'm assuming that you have already downloaded and installed Visual Studio from Microsoft. If you haven't yet, but now want to play along, go back to Step 2, getting your feet wet, for the instructions on how to do that. Open Visual Studio now, or continue to just follow along if you prefer that, and start a new project by selecting File, New, Project. In this case, the ellipsis dots, 3 periods separated by spaces, after the word Project, indicate that another option will display after you select it, and it does. From the many options you are given, select the C# Windows Forms app as the project type. Name the project Guessing Ages. Actually, you can name it just about whatever you want, but you will always want to give your projects a name that describes what the project does. When the project is created, you will see 2 tabs. One says form1.cs, and the other says form1.cs design. The visible part of the app is on the Design tab. The code is on the other one, form1.cs. The 2 tabs are circled below, and in the newsletter or lesson, there's a screenshot showing that. Make sure the form1.cs Design tab is to the fore. The tab will have a blue background when it is. Click on that tab if it is not to the fore or blue. You will now see a blank Windows form. The first thing to do is to drag some items from the toolbox onto the form. The toolbox is circled on the left below. And there's a screenshot of that with not only the toolbox on the far left circled, but various controls that we're going to use. Rectangled, button, label, radio button, and group box. When you click Toolbox, a selection of controls will pop out from the left as you see above in the screenshot. Drag and drop the following items from the toolbox onto the form, all of which are rectangled in the screenshot above, as mentioned. 1 label, 1 group box, 3 radio buttons, and 1 button, a regular button. Move the controls around the form so that it looks somewhat like my form, which you can see in the screenshot below. It doesn't have to be exactly the same in appearance. For the label you place near the top of the form, give it the text you see above or something similar. Feel free to reword it if you want to, and the verbiage I'm using is, from the following choices, select the one that you know or like the most if you know more than one of them. You can change the label's text by following these steps. 1, click on the label. 2, locate the Properties pane at the lower right of your Visual Studio screen. 3, so that the text will cover more than one line, change the label's auto size property in the layout section of the Properties pane from true to false. 4, and it shows a screenshot of the auto size property in the Properties pane, rectangled, and changed to false. 4, scroll down to the text property of the label, which is highlighted in the screenshot below that. 5, click in the cell directly to the right of text and type in the text you want the label to have, such as the one already mentioned. From the following choices, select the one that you know or like the most if you know more than one of them. In a similar way, change the text value of the button control to Next. Click the button, scroll to its text property in the Properties pane, and replace its default value, which will probably be something like button 1, to Next. So what we now have is a form with, from top to bottom, 1 label, that explains the purpose of the app, 1 group box to hold some radio buttons, 3 radio buttons on the group box control, and 1 button control. In our next step, we will add some code on the form1.cs tab. It's only fair to warn you that sometimes when you write code, you feel a bit like this cat. And in the newsletter, you would see an illustration of someone who looks kind of like a mad scientist.